Join us every Friday at 9 p.m. Eastern for the Access to Laila live call-in and answer show. Please join Ustada Laila Nashiba. If you have any questions in regards to this theme, call in at 862-370-2838. Now streaming on various platforms right here on Sunnahfollowers. Join us every Friday at 9 p.m. Eastern for the Access to Laila live call-in and answer show. Please join Ustada Laila Nashiba. If you have any questions in regards to this theme, call in at 862-370-2838. Now streaming on various platforms right here on Sunnahfollowers.
Whoever's doing your thing. And by the way, what are you getting up here today? Let's talk about it.
Any other questions?
This is gonna be good.
Welcome to Ask Sister Laila Live.
And by the way, what are you getting up here today? Let's talk about it.
Wait a minute.
Time for the Ask Sister Laila live show.
This is
Lines
gonna
are
be
now
good.
open. 862-370-2838.
Okay, everybody. Ina alhamdulillah. Wa salat wa salaballah wa rasulallah. Welcome, everybody, to the Ask Sister Laila live show. And this is the time that you can come in with your questions about Islam. And inshallah, you can type them on the screen and I will answer them to the best of my ability. And as always, I provide evidence. My answers are not based on fatwa online websites. My answers are not based on the four madhabs. My answers are not based on what a sheikh said. My answers are based solely on the Quran and the authentic hadiths. And if I can, I will give you examples for any answer any question I answer. I try to also provide examples from the companions to help you to understand how to implement whatever the question is into your daily life. And there are several different ways that you can ask your questions here. For those of you who are on YouTube, for those of you who are on Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, LinkedIn, and Facebook. All you have to do is type your question and inshallah, I'll be able to see it and I can answer it. And also for those of you on Rumble, I'm getting ready to join Rumble too. Hold on, let me, because I got a few followers, which I didn't know I even had on Rumble. Wait a minute, let me get in here. Yeah. I got a few followers that I didn't know I had on Rumble. For those of you on Rumble and Odyssey, I cannot see what you type, but to make it easier for you, I'm getting ready to join Rumble now, inshallah, so I can see what you type. Odyssey, I won't be able to see you, but you can join YouTube or Facebook. The channel is Sunnahfollowers, and I'll be able to see your questions. Also, for those of you who are a part of our WhatsApp group, you can type your questions in our WhatsApp group, and inshallah, one of the sisters will see it and will be able to read it to me. Or you can do the call in, and let me put that here. I got that little thing here. You can call us at, where is it at? Where's my little ticker? Here it is. You can call in at 862-370-2838. That's our phone line, and it is open. Or if you want, you can join the Zoom room. Join the Zoom room at www.sunnahfollowers.net. And you can type your question about Islam there. And one of the sisters there will be able to read it out loud for you to me. And just to let everybody know, for those of you who are For those of you who are in the Zoom room, don't think that I can see you, because I can't. I am streaming through, I'm looking through the streaming program. So don't send me any private messages. If you have a question, type them to Sister Fame, or type them just open so everybody can see, and once somebody there can read it. But if you send it to me directly, I won't see it at all, because I am not looking on Zoom at all, even though I'm logged in there. Only thing I can see is the streaming program, and I can see the types from the people on Facebook and YouTube. So those are the different ways that you can get your questions asked. And inshallah, like I said, I'll try to answer them. And if there's a question that I cannot answer, I have Sheikh Morsi on standby, and he's one of the scholars of the ulama here, and also he's my personal teacher. So if there's something that I cannot answer, inshallah, I'll call him and he'll be able to get with you. So if you have any questions, you can start typing them now. Okay, so that way we can get to them. And also for the brothers, feel free to type your questions too. Like I said, my dawah is geared towards the women, but of course, if you are a sincere male and you're here to learn, you're welcome to participate. Just don't come in here with none of that crazy stuff that I've been having to deal with lately, because Laila ain't got time for it. Life is short. Oh, yeah. And y'all know, I think it's pretty well known by now that I'm not the one. I'm not a typical woman like these other women on the internet. You will never encounter anyone like me. I'm unique. Always have been. So, but feel free, if you are a brother, to type your question too, and we'll deal with it. You know, subhanAllah. Are there any questions in that Zoom room before I get started with these other ones?
Yeah, there are a few here. The first one is, how do you tell your Christian family that you are now Muslim?
How old is the person that's asking?
The rest of their message said, as a child, I grew up in a church, and at one point I did take my son a few times. And I think because I've struggled in the past with that, that was the norm, being a Christian. For me, it's not anymore. Living for Allah, being modest, learning, and a whole new lifestyle. I believe some people have a hard time respecting my decision and shame me. What can I do, and how can I overcome it?
Okay, mashallah. First of all, I'd like to welcome the person to Islam. Alhamdulillah. And from the question, I can see that it's not a child, it's an adult. And there's no, all you do is just tell them, you know, because remember, now that you are a Muslim, you have pledged allegiance. You have given your allegiance to Allah. You have given your allegiance to the Prophet Muhammad, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. You've given your allegiance to all Muslims around the world and to this religion. Okay? And it's nothing to be ashamed of. And because you have embraced this new man, that you were created to worship Allah, and you were put here on this earth to prove to him that you believe in him, and that you love him more than anything and anyone, more than your mother, more than your father, more than your brothers, your sisters, even your children. Your love for them do not supersede your love for him. So the way you tell them is to just tell them. You just go to your parents and tell them, I have embraced upon the religion of Islam. And that's it. You know, if they accept it, fine. If they don't accept it, you tell them, well, you know, whether you let them know whether you accept it or not, this is something that I have chosen for myself. This is something that I want for myself. And if they become hostile, or if they become abusive towards you about it, then you leave. Because remember, part of being a Muslim is we disassociate. You gave your allegiance to Allah by converting, and now you're going to disassociate. You're going to disassociate from anyone or anything that tries to stand between you and your Lord. So if they become combative, Or if they become hostile towards you, you don't disrespect them. You just leave and let them know, I am not going to come around you. Tell them, as long as you all are like this towards me, I will not come around you. But you can call and check on them once a month or so. You understand? You can call and check on your mom. You'll call her and say, Mom, I'm calling to check on you. And if you start arguing me about my religion, I'm going to hang up. But I want you to know that I love you. I miss you. And do you need anything? And keep it moving like that. Okay. But remember, Islam, it's not about you trying to win anyone over. The only person you have to win over is Allah. So you're going to spend the rest of your life doing the deeds that are pleasing to him. And remember, the Prophet Muhammad said, if Allah is pleased with you, this is how you earn his love. And once Allah loves you, he will cause the people on earth who need to love you too. So it's not about hiding. It's not about pretending. Okay, it's about being just as strong as Abraham, alayhi salam, was. Prophet Abraham, he stood up to his father in a nice, respectful way and said, I do not associate partners with Allah. I do not worship idols. Even though his father, even though his whole town, his whole country turned against him, he stayed firm upon his belief. And remember, Allah tells us just because we say we believe in him is not enough. He's going to test you. So this is your first test to see if you were sincere in your testimony of faith. This is the first test that Allah has sent to you. Your first test is to show Allah that you choose him over even your family. And you will stand firm for him even over your family. So just come out and tell them. If they don't accept it, leave and tell them that you're not going to come around them until they do. And if your family loves you, they'll end up accepting you when they see that you are sincere. Because one thing about a family, they usually have unconditional love for you. But when they see that you're adamant, they'll eventually come around. And if they don't, so be it. You keep it moving. And Allah knows best. Okay. So if there's I hope that answers your question.
Yeah. And this question on YouTube says, will you continue to record the khutbah?
It depends. I don't know. I did Sheikh Atli's khutbah today. I usually do him, but he's been having a lot of speakers lately. So I don't know. It depends. Because I'm doing so much. Remember, I don't have anybody helping me. And I get so stressed out with the new classes and stuff. But if I can, I will. But if I can't. But one of the reasons why I hadn't been streaming Sheikh Atli is because he had a lot of guest speakers. He wasn't doing his own khutbahs. And I only record him. I don't record these other people. Yeah. Any other questions?
The next question is, can a Muslim woman donate her eggs?
No. And let me talk about this. I'm glad this question has come up because somebody else asked me about this and I forgot to email them back the answer. It's probably the same person. No. Because adultery is haram. Adultery is one of the 10 commandments. Okay? Thou shalt not commit adultery. Thou shalt not fornicate. Thou shalt not lay with your neighbor's wife. Your eggs belong to you. Your eggs are your babies. You cannot take your baby and give it to another woman to have her husband fertilize it, because this is the same as if you slept with him. This is one of the signs of the last hour too. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said we do this type of crap. He'd say adultery would be off the hooks. We will have no concern for this type of stuff. So no, this is a sacrilege in Islam. And adoption is haram too. So this is all, that's another form of that. This is all haram. So what Muslims are going to have to do is learn to accept the qadr of Allah. And like I was telling you guys earlier, most Muslims today will be in the hellfire. Why? Not because they didn't receive the message. Instead, it's because they didn't believe in Allah. They didn't want to accept the truth. Okay? Most Muslims cannot accept the reality that Allah is the one who has willed everything. Like the Prophet Muhammad said, every nation has its fire worshipers. The fire worshipers of my nation are those who reject the decree of Allah. If Allah decreed that a person can't have children, you have to accept that. You accept it. It's not in the cards for you. And Allah does things for our betterment. Children are not the blessing that people think they are. Allah tells us in the Quran that children don't even belong to you. They're a loan, a temporary loan that Allah gives us. And oftentimes, those children will grow up to hurt you. Children are a test. So maybe Allah knows something that you don't know. You heard the story of El-Khidr. Remember the story of El-Khidr and Moses, alayhi salam. When El-Khidr saw the boy, he killed the little boy. And Moses got angry and asked him, why did you kill that boy? And El-Khidr said, listen, you don't know what I know. He came from righteous parents. But if Allah had allowed him to live, he would have grown up and did all kind of corruption and would have dishonored his parents in a bad way. So Allah loved his parents so much that he refused to allow this child to live to hurt them. So that's why I killed him. A lot of lessons to learn from the story of El-Khidr about the qadr or the decree of Allah. If a woman can't have children, then Allah knows best why. Because children ain't no piece of cake. I'm here to tell y'all. There's an old commercial from back in the 80s. If they'd only stay little till their Carters wear out. Carter's baby clothes. If they'd only stay little till their clothes wear out. Children are the biggest test that any of us will have to endure. And 9 times out of 10, they end up hurting us or disappointing us, especially living here in America. And especially in this day and age where the Islam has become strange. So no, you cannot donate your eggs to nobody. This is a sacrilege. This is filth. This is adultery. Tell whoever it is to accept the decree of Allah and keep it moving. Tell her to go get a kitten. Tell her to go get a baby cat and love it. They don't hurt you. And Allah knows best. The sister here said, that's so right, Laila. The sister here is typing, I needed to hear that too, Sister Laila. This is true. I said, yes, it's true. Okay, the brother here is asking me. Oh, here we go with the brothers. Okay, these 2 brothers here. Okay, I got 2 brothers here who are asking me about what we talked about for the 6 o'clock class about the Quran. And the way I'm going to answer this question is going to shock everybody because Layla's not going to allow people to come in here today with that. The bottom line is this: anyone who rejects what Allah says, anyone whose understanding of the religion is not in sync with the understanding that those original companions had, you got a problem. And I'm not the one to come to with it. If you brothers do not understand that the Quran is the words of Allah and not a creation, then that's a problem between you and Allah, not Laila Nashiba. One of the companions, Al-Hasan al-Basri, a man saw him walking and he said, "Oh, you're Hasan al-Basri." He was one of the tabi'in, not one of the originals. He said, "You're Al-Hasan al-Basri." He said, "I heard about you. You know, I've been wanting to meet you because I like to ask you a few things, you know, kick it with you, you know, have a little debate with you." Al-Hasan al-Basri told him, "Look, I know my religion. Go out and look for yours if you've lost it." Okay, so my words, my response to you two brothers is, if you two brothers don't understand how the Quran is not a created thing, the only one that can help you with that is Allah, because Allah holds the heart of man in his fingers. Oh yeah, he's got fingers. All right, he says that about himself. You probably don't believe that either. Okay, but so what I would suggest you two brothers do is, instead of being on the internet trying to debate it with someone else, because you're not going to listen to what I have to say, and I sure ain't going to listen to what you got to say. So to you be your good deeds, and to me be mine. And instead go to the prayer rug and sit down one-on-one with Allah. And maybe if you're sincere, you know, raise your hands and ask Allah to help you to understand that the Quran are his words and not his creation. And maybe he'll help you, because Laila Nashiba can't. And just to help you on your journey, I'm going to open the door for you. It was a beautiful day here where I live, and I'm sure it's beautiful where you are. So let me do this, kid. Have a good day tomorrow, dude. Hello. Next question. Okay, yes, here's a good one. Do I raise my hands when I am sitting? I am new to Islam. Yes, I know who you are, brother. Yeah, you're one of the new shahadas, and I want to welcome you back here. And I'm so proud of you, because you've been doing a good job coming to all my classes, learning the deen. Okay? So, no, you don't raise your hands when you're sitting. Okay? No raising of the hands when you sit. And I know you've probably seen some Muslims do that, haven't you, at the mosque? Well, this is the incorrect way to pray. Okay, the raising of the hands is a sunan of the prayer anyway. But it's something that we should do, because the Prophet said to pray the way he prays. He would raise his hands before bowing. He would raise his hands before prostrating. But when sitting, he would not raise his hands, okay? And when you're going to taslim out, you simply just, like the hadith says, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was sitting with the companions at the mosque. What's the source? What's the source, Sahih Muslim? He was sitting at the mosque with his companions, and a man came in and prayed, and the man did this. raised his hands and gave salams. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam stopped him when he got up, and he told him, no, don't do that. He said it would have been sufficient for you to keep your hands on your thighs and simply go, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, Assalamu alaikum. Okay? So no, don't raise your hands when you're sitting. And I gave you the dalil, and Allah knows best. Okay? All right, any questions in the Zoom room? Oh, sorry. Told me to check my thing. Okay, I'm checking it now. Hold on. Ugh. Boy, when y'all put it on here, I sure can't read this. Okay, the sister here is asking. She said she's new to Islam. She doesn't have anyone in her family who is Muslim. A brother wants to marry her, and she wants to know, can the imam of the mosque be her guardian? And the answer is yes. That's who should be your guardian. Exactly. The imam of the mosque should be your guardian. So this is correct. A woman cannot be married without a guardian. What's the source? What's the source? Sahih Bukhari. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, anyone who marries without a wali, the marriage is null and void. Null and void. That means a marriage is not legit. It doesn't even exist. So mashallah, you're doing it the right way. If the imam of the mosque should be your guardian. And Allah knows best. Good job, sister. Okay. She told me, look at the phone. If you can type here, well, I got to look at the phone. Look at the phone. Okay. Yes. And 2 witnesses. If the imam has 2 witnesses for you, yes, that's a valid marriage contract. In order for there to be a valid marriage, guys, there has to be a guardian for the woman. 2 male Muslims, 2 male Muslim men. Okay? Also a dowry. Make sure you have a dowry. And please don't let your dowry be a verse of the Quran. Let me talk about that for a minute. I mean, you sisters coming here to new shahadas, I think we need to hit on that and talk about that for a minute. Seriously.
And by the way, what do you get the fear today? Let's talk about it.
Any other questions?
This is gonna be good.
Welcome to Ask Sister Laila Live. Yeah, let's talk about it. What is this thing up in here, y'all? Hold on. Why is that in there? Can y'all see that thing there? That thing is still in the way. Why is that thing? Put that thing down. Uh-oh. Hold on, guys. Let me get back to my screen. I don't know what happened here with the technical issues here. Okay, let's talk about it. For the new Shahada. Sister, yes, your imam of the mosque can be your guardian. And also there should be 2 male witnesses. But let me share some information with you that I don't know if the brothers shared with you. Your dowry. First of all, a lot of Muslim women don't know the purpose of the dowry. The purpose of the dowry is for the woman to be able to buy her freedom if the marriage doesn't work out. I don't know if the brothers told you this. Since you're a new Shahada, I'm going to let you know. Because once you get married, if you find out that this brother is not everything that he claimed to be, he doesn't have a job, let's say, or maybe he's abusive. Maybe he's not clean. Maybe he doesn't take a bath every day. Whatever. You find out after you marry this man that he's not what you need. You cannot divorce him. He can divorce you. Do you understand? For you, it would be different. You'd have to go seek a divorce from a man a judge who specializes in it. So that's the purpose of the dowry. So that should you divorce him, you have something to pay your ransom with. So do not ask that your dowry be a verse of the Quran. Don't ask for a prayer rug. Okay? If this man divorces you, what do you have to fall back on? Because that's the other side of it too. Say, for example, you marry this brother, you don't know him, he doesn't know you, and he decides that he doesn't want you, that you're not what he was looking for. You need to have something to start your life back up with. That's also the purpose of the dowry, not just for you to buy your freedom with, but also for you to be able to restart your life. Because Allah gives you a 3-month waiting period. Within that 3-month waiting period, or 3 menstrual cycles, whichever comes first, he still has to pay your rent, buy your food, and all of that. So Allah gives you 3 months to look for an apartment, 3 months to get a job, 3 months to get you a car or whatever you need so you can get back on your feet. So if he should divorce you and you don't have no money, how are you going to put a down payment on an apartment? How are you going to get you a car? How are you going to start it off? So a lot of you new converts don't understand the seriousness of the dowry like we Arabic women or we Bantu women do. Those of us that were born into the religion. We understand the importance of a dowry. Unless you're a person like me, I'm independent, self-sufficient. Money ain't of no value to me because I got my own. Alhamdulillah, Allah take care of Laila. But not everybody's in a position like Laila. You're probably not. Okay? So don't ask for a prayer rug. Don't ask for a Quran. Don't ask for a verse of the Quran to be recited. Make sure that your dowry be something that you can fall back on in case the marriage doesn't work. In case the brother decides that he don't want you, or maybe, something happens, or you convince him to divorce you. You need that $3,000. You hear me? You need $3,000 so you can put $1,000 down on an apartment and take the other $2,000 and go out and buy you a decent car to get back, put it as a down payment on a decent car to get back and forth to work with. You see what I'm saying? So you new shahadas have to think like that. Don't take the dowry lightly, because we Muslim women that were born in this deen don't. We don't take it lightly, because that money should go, put it in a bank. And by the way, don't spend that dowry yet either, because you don't know if this marriage going to work out or not. You put that dowry to the side somewhere in case you find out that the marriage ain't going to work, so you got $3,000 to get started with. It should be at least $3,000. Oh yeah, I wouldn't ask for anything less than $3,000 for you. Now, if you was a woman that was established and older and got you what you need, you can tell them, then you could tell them, just give me a Quran. But you don't have it that way. All right? Yeah, so be careful of that. Make sure that you take the time to think about a dowry and look at the cost of living where you live at, how much it costs, to pay the first month's rent to an apartment for yourself. How much of a down payment you need for a car, if you need a car. Look at that stuff and then determine what your dowry is. Okay? And Allah knows best. Next question.
Okay, we have a question here from Facebook. Do you have any tips on how to perform ghusl easier? Lately, washing my hair every other day is killing me. When I first got married, I got a tip to keep my hair in braids. But now, by the time I take my braids out, my hair is so tangled from the new growth and constantly washing it.
First of all, you don't have to take the braids out. Who told you that you have to take your braids out every time you take a ghusl? Who told you that? This is a
She's referring to when she goes to like rebraid it up, because you want to rebraid it up ever so often and retouch it up.
How long do y'all go without braiding y'all? You got to wash your hair sometime. What? I don't understand the question. Well, how long does she think she's supposed to go?
She's pregnant, and so she tries to go as long as she can because she's at the point of pregnancy where she's just really tired with everything.
So keep it braided. There's no time that you can, long as your hair is braided, you don't have to take it out. But if you want it, but I'm going to tell you, Islam is cleanliness. Cleanliness is closer to godliness, guys. I mean, you guys know, even when we braid our hair, we got to wash it sometime. You got to at least wash it once a month. At least, I know one of my clients. Let me think. Is my coworker in here? Yeah. We had a client of mine. We kept her hair braided because she looked so pretty in it. But we took them braids out once a month to wash her hair. So you can't get no easier than that. Nobody should go longer than that without washing their hair. I mean, I couldn't go that way at all. I got thin hair, but if your hair is the coarse kind, like my client had at my job, we would get her hair done once a month. She would get it braided up. We'd take her to get it braided. It'd be so pretty. And then we take her back once a month to get it done. And so once a month, you can't get no easier than that. That's easy. Anything else is just laziness. Yeah, well, that's why I'm saying, however your hair, because I couldn't go no month with mine, but it depends. My client had some coarse hair. We were able to take her once a month, but I don't know. Every woman knows herself. It's the same answer that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam told the women. When the women came to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, braid your hair up. Okay? But every woman knows their self. You have to remember, Allah loves beauty. Allah loves cleanliness. Allah doesn't like triflingness. And we should try to be the opposite of what Allah dislikes. So when your hair starts looking bad, sister, you're just going to have to take it down and get it washed. If you can't do it, have somebody do it for you. I tell you, sisters, go to the beauty shop. That's what I do. You sisters are going to have to put some money aside to get your hair done. I get my hair done every 2 weeks. $85 every 2 weeks. Okay? And so, because I'm like you, I don't want to be sitting up doing my hair. I ain't got time for that. I got arthritis in my arm. But hey, I got to look good. Allah loves beauty. And if you married, you pregnant, your husband loves beauty. Don't no man want to be with no slovenly woman. So what I would tell you sisters to do is go, if it's too much, pay. Go to the beautician and pay the $85 or the $100 to get it done. You sisters understand? Because like they said, everybody got different textures. My hair is thin and straight, so I don't know. But I do my hair every 2 weeks. I can't go 2 weeks without getting mine done. So just pay the money. But there's no easier way around that, because anything else would be trifling. And Allah doesn't like triflingness. Just pay somebody. AY, how much it costs to get braids done?
It depends on the length of your hair.
Yeah.
If you have short hair, I mean, me and my people doing for $30.
Oh God, $30? Come on, y'all.
Because I know them. But yeah, because I know them. But if you go to the hair salon, it's more expensive.
Yeah, well, just get somebody to do your hair for you, sister. I go to the hair salon. I pay $85 every 2 weeks. Getting ready to go Tuesday. I'm going Tuesday. Jayla, my granddaughter out there, send me that money. Zelle me the money to get my hair done. Hello. Yeah. Yeah, but you can't get no easier than that. Anything easier than that would be triflingness. And Allah hates triflingness. We can't be nasty and ugly and slovenly as women. Just pay the money and get it done. That's what I do. Because I ain't got time for it either. Just go get it done. Allah knows best. Yeah. Any other questions that she had with that? That's a good.
Go ahead, Maisha. Yeah, Maisha, go ahead. It's from Facebook.
Go ahead, Maisha.
Okay, it says, it says, I have an autoimmune disease that caused me to lose my hair. I still have some hair, but the top and front is bald. I used to wear wigs prior to me converting to Islam, but I don't anymore, only for special occasions. My husband says wearing the wig is no problem because my wig has a mesh that the water goes through. I'm wondering if it's okay.
Okay, first of all, I want everybody to know that only Allah has the authority to make things lawful and unlawful, not your husband. Your husband is not Allah. And one of the things that I try to reinforce with you sisters, there's a big misconception that women living in the Western world have been told. And the reason why I say Western women is because in the Muslim world, the women know better. The women in the Arab women, the Pakistani women, the Malaysian women, the women in the Arabic world know better. But unfortunately, and for those Muslim sisters in the West, they have been, its religion of Islam has been filtered down to them and watered down to them by a bunch of men who couldn't enforce what they wanted to force in their culture because the women in their culture know the deen. So they can only enforce it with new converts. The misconception is that a lot of women are told that you're supposed to please your husband. Any woman who dies and her husband is pleased with her can enter paradise through any gate. They tell you that one sentence of a long hadith. That one sentence is correct. But why come the brothers are not giving you the entire hadith? If I believed that my way to paradise is pleasing a man, then why do I pray? Why don't I pray to him? If you believe that that hadith is just one sentence that says any woman whose husband is pleased with her, when she dies, she can enter paradise, then why are we not worshiping our husband? That means your husband is your God. That is not the meaning of that hadith. Let me give you, sisters, the whole hadith in English. First of all, this hadith was revealed. Let's give you the history. When the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam migrated to Medina after the Battle of Badr, that's when Allah started sending down the verses of the Quran. He sent down the verses of hijab to the Muslim women. And also he sent down verses telling the men that women should be treated with kindness, because the Arabs weren't used to that type of a lifestyle. The Arabs were a barbaric people. Women didn't have rights prior to Islam. A woman was like a piece of meat, okay? So Allah sent down all the verses giving women, telling the men that your wives have rights over you. When Allah sent those verses of the Quran down, the women got kind of arrogant. You know how we women are. They got indignant. They got arrogant. Some of them even started to refuse to sleep with their husbands. Some of them even fought their husbands. So Umar, radiallahu anha, and what's the source of all this? Sahih Bukhari. Umar approached the Prophet. He said, "O Prophet of Allah, now our wives, they don't listen to us. They fight us. And some of them are even refusing us the bed." And that's when Allah sent the verses down giving men their rights. And when those verses came down, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam gathered all the Muslims together at the mosque. This was after Fajr prayer, I think. And he said, "Oh, you women who believe, you have rights over your husbands, and your husbands have rights over you. Your husband's rights are this: when he calls you to his bed, you're supposed to respond. Even if you standing at the oven cooking, you respond. Another right that your husband have over you is that you guard in his absence that which he would have you to guard, which is his property, which is his children. The next right that your husband has over you is that you obey him, as long as he is not telling you to do something that contradicts what Allah has said or contradicts what I have said as your prophet and messenger. Those are the rights of man. And then he continued. He said, any woman, this is the last part of the hadith, any woman who dies completing the favors that Allah has bestowed upon her husbands, she will be able to enter paradise through whichever gate she chooses. So that's the entire hadith. You sisters only have to please your husband in regards to what Allah commanded you to please him in. And what did Allah command all of us women to please our husband in? Answering his call to the bed, guarding his home, his property, his children, and obeying him in whatever, as long as it doesn't contradict what Allah says or what the prophet said. That's the only thing we please our husband in. Okay? Now, the question is, can I wear a wig? Because my hair is falling out. The Prophet Muhammad, sallallahu alayhi wasallam, said, Allah has cursed the woman who wears a wig, and the woman who made the wig, and the woman who bought the wig. Because wearing a wig is changing the creation of Allah. What's the source? Bukhari and Muslim. In another hadith, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, Allah has cursed the woman or the man who lengthens their hair artificially. What's the source? Bukhari and Muslim. So now for the sister with the question about her hair falling out, Aisha radiyallahu anha tells us, and what's the source? Bukhari. She says, when the scandal mongers slandered my character, she said, I was so upset that all my hair fell out. So I took some scissors and I cut my hair short to even it out. She didn't put a wig on. Then we have another hadith. What's the source? Bukhari and Muslim. A woman came to the Prophet. She said, "O Prophet of Allah, my daughter is getting married and she has measles. The measles has caused all her hair to fall out. Can I put a wig on her?" The Prophet said, "No. Allah has cursed the woman who wears a wig, the woman who makes the wig, and the woman who sells it." So there's your dalil, sister. It is haram for you to wear a wig under any circumstance, be it stress, be it cancer, be it measles, be it anything else. You have two things you can do. You can do like Aisha, radiyallahu anha, and take some scissors and cut your hair to even it out. Because that's what Aisha did. Her hair fell out, so she got it even. I was there. Oh yeah. About 12 years ago, when I had the bariatric surgery, my hair fell out. My hair used to come all the way down past my derriere. Bariatric surgery, it was this long. That's when I went to the beautician for the first time. One of my co-workers, she saw my hair because I took off my scarf. I said, "Look at my hair, it's gone." She said, "I am a beautician." She said, "Come to my shop, Laila. I will have your hair grown back in a year." I went to her shop. She cut my hair real short. She cut it all even. It was the shortest it's ever been. To even it out, I had to go to her every week. 2 years later, hair back down my back. Okay? So you can either do that because your hair is falling out, cut it all off, and I mean, not all off, but even it up, have a beautician even it. Or instead of wearing a wig, because wigs are haram, you better learn how to work that hijab, girlfriend. This is the wig for the Muslim woman. Put a hijab on it. There's a bunch of stylish caps. You see this cap I got on? These type of caps come in all different styles, all different sizes. They got bows, bling, and everything. You better learn how to work a cap. But you cannot put a wig on for any reason, no matter what your husband says. And I want all you sisters to remember this final hadith on the topic, which will also be the icing on this cake. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, Allah has said that he is not in need of any deeds that we do if they're done for him and someone else. Mic drop, bang. What's the source? Sahih Muslim and Bukhari. All right? So any good deeds that we do as women and men, we do solely for the sake of Allah. We don't do them to please nobody but him. If your husband wants you to wear a wig, tell him no way, Jose. He better learn to fall in love with them hijabs. You better learn how to work it, baby cakes. Work that hijab. But you don't disobey Allah to please anyone because you've taken your husband as your God doing that. And Allah knows best. I hope I answered the question. I hope it's clear. Ask her, is she okay with that? Tell her hair will grow back. Tell her to go to a beautician. I keep telling you Muslim women, y'all need to go to beauticians. I'm telling you, my hair came out. It was so short. God, now it's back down my back. Beauticians, they take care of you. They put the stuff in it. They get you going, man. That real conditioner, real oil. It's worth the $85 for me. 85 bucks. And I look like Marilyn Monroe. Bring it. I'll be looking like Marilyn Monroe Tuesday. Granddaughter, Zelle me, Cash App me. Okay. All right. And Allah knows best. You got to keep it real. Yeah. Next question.
The next question is, can a 52-year-old divorced woman go to the Umrah with her 2 adult daughters on her own?
No!
She doesn't have any...
No! In order to make Hajj or to make Umrah, you have to meet the conditions. And the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was clear. And this is another example as to how Muslims today, we want to know why Allah has brought this war against us. We don't follow the Prophet Muhammad anymore. We'll listen to what Imam Hanafi said, what Imam Shafi said, what Imam Malik said, what Ibn Taymiyyah said, what Ibn Qayyim said, what Ibn Kathir said. None of them people have nothing to say because the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said a woman cannot make Hajj without a mahram. What's the source? What's the source? Bukhari, Muslim, Muwatta. You women have to have a mahram. And I made Hajj before. You need a mahram. Because when you women make mahram or make Hajj, you will be treated like dirt. You will be kicked. You will be spit on. You will be pushed on. You're going to need a man to pick you up when other people knock you down. You're going to need a man to throw him or himself over your whole body to protect you when other men are punching you because you're standing next to them. Hajj is the biggest jihad. What's the source? Aisha, Sahih Bukhari. She said the biggest jihad for any woman is Hajj, and I made it. It was the hardest and worst experience of my life. Telling you guys, I was never tested like that. If I didn't have my husband with me, no telling where I'd be. Probably in jail. Because you know, the mouth. So if you 52, 62, 102, if you don't have a mahram, then you do not meet the criteria. That means Hajj is not obligatory upon you. Okay? And Allah is not going to hold you accountable for that because you don't have a mahram. You didn't meet the conditions. So don't worry about it. But no, you cannot make Hajj without a mahram. Wait till your daughters get married. When your daughters get married, then maybe one of their husbands, because their husband would be a mahram for you. Maybe your husband, their husband can take you on Hajj. But until then, don't worry about it. Allah is not even going to hold you accountable because, He's not even going to hold you accountable because you don't meet the criteria. Okay? So don't worry about it. And Allah knows best.
The next question is, if you're praying by yourself and someone walks up to you and stands beside you and starts following your movements, trying to pray with you, can you start leading that person in prayer, or is that person's prayer invalid?
No, that's okay. People do that sometimes. That's permissible. If you're making salat and somebody joins in to pray with you, you get the reward. You're getting a lot of reward for praying in congregation. Yeah, you can do that. That's okay. You keep praying and they just follow you. They're right there with you. You just start Allahu Akbar, leading them. You're just leading them. So that's okay. Nobody's prayer is invalid. That's good.
The next question is, at school, I'm surrounded by sinful Muslims. Is it my responsibility to befriend them and teach them the religion?
And this is why I'm teaching my series on enjoining the good and forbidding the evil. Allah does not hold you responsible for the actions, behaviors, choices, or sins of anyone else. And when it comes to enjoining good and forbidding evil, certain conditions have to exist. Number one, you have to weigh the pros and cons. First of all, the other kids are going to look at you like, who are you? You're not anyone of authority. You're not an imam. You're not their parents. You're not their relatives. You're nobody to them. So 9 times out of 10, that means if you approach them, they're not going to listen to you. In fact, they may even hurt you. If they're that sinful, they might beat you up. They might pull out a stick and hit you in the head. Okay? So there's certain criteria that we have to meet too when it comes to enjoining the good and forbidding the evil. So you move to the next level. They're probably not going to accept from you. You said that they don't even know who you are. So why would you befriend people who don't know you, who are sinful? The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam told us to be careful who we befriend. He said, because a person takes on the behavior of his or her friends. You are a girl. If you befriend other girls who are sinful, they're going to have you doing what they do because you ain't nobody. So instead, you move on by making dua for them and you distance yourself from them because they are the responsibility of their parents. They're not your responsibility. It's their parents' responsibility to educate them about Islam, not yours. You just concern yourself with yourself and make dua for them. That way you're doing something. Make dua for them and stay away from them. Otherwise, they're going to suck you into their world. Does that make sense, Pearl? And Allah knows best. If they're doing something that's really bad, you can report it to the teachers. If they're doing something like smoking weed, you can go and tell the teachers, the kids outside are smoking weed, and tell the teacher, Dr. them know that you told it. Or your parents can tell their parents. But as far as you befriending them to teach them, you ain't qualified to teach them the religion. You're not a daya. Plus, you are their equal. They're not going to listen to you anyway. They'll probably make fun of you and start bullying you. So no, it ain't your job to do that. Let their parents handle it. Take it to your teacher and report it, or tell your parents and let your parents deal with it. And Allah knows best. Yeah. Any other questions there? I hope that's clear. Is that clear, Sister Pearl? You don't want to end up in a bad situation where people bullying you and beating you in the head and stuff. A lot of violence today in these Muslim schools got violence going on too. Like I said, report them to the teacher or to your parents, and that's it. Keep it moving. Yeah. And by the way, there's someone here on oh, I'm getting ready to block this person. You know, somebody texted me on my personal phone claiming that, first of all, you live in Qatar. I keep telling you guys, be careful. We talked about this in our 6 o'clock class. The scam and gains that Muslims are faced with on the internet. Laila Nashiba, I've been on this internet since 1986. I used to be an IRC operator. Oh yeah, back in the day. Fnet, I ran 4 servers. Kuwaiti server, UAE server, Iran server, and a server out of America. We were tough. Nuke you, ban you. I'm from old school. All right? Now, this person keeps messaging me, has been messaging me since this morning. Y'all know I usually don't wake up early. I usually have a hard time waking up early. I'm a third shift person. Thank God I did get up, because this person has been harassing, blowing up my phone on how this person got my personal number, I don't know. But this man, it's a man. He's been messaging me nonstop, telling me I got questions. So I've been ignoring, thinking, well, maybe he's waiting for this show, my Q&A. Then around 3 o'clock, he sends me a text message saying, I want to learn about Islam. I want to convert to Islam, but I don't speak English. Y'all hear this? And he's typing this. The type is perfect English. I ignored it. Then my phone starts ringing. Now that's when you transgress the limits. You're going to call me, and guess where this man is from? Qatar. You're an Arab trying to pick up. This ain't the pickup spot. I keep telling you, brothers, I ain't the one. I don't know how he got. Fat-May, figure out how did he get my personal number for WhatsApp. Fat-May, what's up with this? Fresno? I don't know. But whoever you are from Qatar, I just blocked you. Ain't no green card, although you a rich country. So I don't think it's a green card with you, because if I lived in Qatar, I wouldn't want nothing to do with America. So I doubt if it's green card. If it's pickup city, it ain't happening. I don't pick up scallywags off the internet. Hello? No. Don't blow my phone up no more, dude. Hashtag don't get it twisted. All right. Next question. I just blocked him. I didn't know how to block him. I'm kind of proud, because I just figured out how to block on WhatsApp. Because he's been blowing up my phone. I just clicked and said block. So I just blocked. That's block, right? Fat-Man?
Yep, that's blocked.
So he won't be able to call me no more, text me, right?
No, he shouldn't.
Girl, I'm looking at his IP. I keep telling y'all we can trace your IP. This dude is in Qatar. Oh, yeah, he's Arab in Qatar, and his English is very good. You know, English is their second language. Ain't nobody stupid. The second language of all the Gulf states is English. In fact, as my cousin is typing here, they speak better English than they do Arabic. Did you all know that? They speak better English than they do Arabic because Arabic is dying out in those countries. Brother, you got the wrong one. Qatar. Next.
As Muslims, can we have gender reveal parties?
Somebody else asked me this again. This is another one of the signs of the last hour. This is not an issue of lawful or unlawful. Let me make this clear to the sisters. Gender reveal, it's not a question of is it lawful or unlawful, because Allah doesn't mention anything about gender parties, okay? So no one can say this is haram. However, what I can clearly tell you is it's something that you shouldn't do. Why? Because whenever we declare La ilaha illallah, Muhammadur Rasulullah, we are pledging that our allegiance is to Allah, to the Prophet Muhammad, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, to the Muslims around the world, and to the religion of Islam. So this is a violation of allegiance to the religion of Islam, because Islam teaches us how to celebrate the birth of a child. In Islam, we have aqiqahs. We have aqiqahs. When the Muslim women when the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam's daughter gave birth, he brought the baby before him, chewed a date, put it in his mouth, okay? Then there's other hadiths. Some of the people question the authenticity of these hadiths. Some say these hadiths are not authentic. Other scholars say they are. And I believe they are as well. There's other hadiths, whereas the Prophet whereas other companions had babies and they would call the adhan in the ear, okay? They would sacrifice the sheep. If it's a boy, 2. If it's a girl, 1. So we have our own tradition or our own way of welcoming a child. Why would you take on the behavior of the kafir? Kafirs have gender reveal parties. We don't. We're Muslims. We're supposed to disassociate, do well better, disassociate from anything that is not a part of our culture, that's not a part of our tradition. Gender parties are not part of the tradition of Muslims. That's the tradition of non-Muslims. So doing a gender party would be imitating the kafir, because that is something that is specific for them. That is something that only non-Muslims in America started doing recently. The Arabs didn't do it. The Prophet didn't do it. None of us do that as Muslims. So, and rather, instead of it being in the category of lawful and unlawful, it's in the category of allegiance. Wala wal bara. Our allegiance is to Allah, to the Prophet, to the religion of Islam, not to the culture and religion of non-Muslims. Do you understand? So are you a Muslim or are you a kafir? If you a kafir, have gender reveal parties. If you are a Muslim, follow our tradition. Wait till the baby is born and then sacrifice a goat or a lamb and give it in charity. Okay? Let the Muslim sisters bring you gifts and stuff the way the companions did. That's our tradition. Don't leave our tradition and take on the way of the kafir. That's one of the signs in the last hour. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, you Muslims will follow them in everything they do. And now we see it. You guys are copycatting their gender reveals now. That's a new crap that the kafirs came up with a few years ago. And now Muslims doing that too. It's bad enough y'all get married like them too. That's haram too. That's definitely imitating their traditions. Sad. We are a twisted nation. And we want to know why Allah has sent the war here. The war is not going away. I keep telling y'all this war, this is just the beginning of what's going to lead to the end. It's not going away because we are showing, Allah says in the Quran, one of the reasons why he sends war is so we can see who the hypocrites are from the believers. Oh my God, most of us are hypocritical. We say our allegiance is to the religion of Islam, but it's not. We're adapting the religion of the Kafirs, and they don't even have a religion. That's sad. This war is not going away. It's just going to get worse. It's going to lead to the next of the major signs, which is the war against Islam. And we brought it on ourselves for this reason, because Islam is not sacred anymore. La ilaha illallah is not sacred anymore. Muhammadur Rasulullah is not sacred. The Prophet said, don't wear wigs. But my husband said it's okay. Y'all see? All right. Next question.
The next question is, are my non-Muslim male relatives, such as my father, uncle, or brother, my mahram, meaning I have to cover up completely around them?
Yeah, they're your mahram. That means that you could never, a mahram is a man that you could never marry under any circumstances. You can never marry your father. You could never marry your brother, your uncles, your nephew, your brother. Okay? So they're mahrams. You don't have to cover your head around them. Okay? They're the only men that could see your hair. But I want you sisters to understand modesty is always the best. I'm thinking about it. My brother Isa. I don't think my brother Isa has seen my hair since I was 12 years old. Yeah, I don't think, I mean, we're just modest. As Muslim women, we're modest. And my brother is Muslim. I don't think any of my brothers have seen me since I was 12 years old without a hijab. I've always had a hijab on when they come around because I'm older than them. I got married at 14. I don't think my brothers have seen me without a hijab or a jilbab because I always got a jilbab on. I don't think my brothers have ever seen me other than this way since I was 12. Yeah, we're modest. Muslim women, we're supposed to be modest. Modesty. It's a sign of faith. It's one of the branches of faith. Remember, faith consists of different branches. Modesty is a branch. Patience is a branch. We should be modest around people. But no, you don't have to cover your head around them. No. Allah knows best. Any other question? Go ahead.
Okay, this is going back to the question about donating eggs. This one says, does that mean that a man cannot donate his sperm?
Yeah, that's adultery. That stuff is a haram. If any Muslim has done that, you better do some sincere repenting, because this is a major, 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 major sin. That's adultery. You've committed adultery. You probably got kids out there that don't even know about them. Astaghfirullah. Have we reached this level in our deen that we're donating our sperm and we're donating our eggs? Now do y'all see why Allah has brought war? This stuff is haram, Muslims. Y'all better learn the deen. What y'all been doing? Now do you people see why there's going to be more people in hell than paradise? Just like I asked you guys, is the Quran the words of Allah or created? Y'all said created, most of you. We're lost. And we're donating our eggs and sperm to people and that we don't know, and we got babies out there that we don't know about. Those are your children. Are you crazy? Oh my God, that's filthy. That's a sacrilege. It's a horrific sin. So any of you Muslim women and men who have done that, y'all better do some sincere repenting. And I'd be fasting. I'd be giving a lot of money in charity. Oh, I'd even go make Hajj too. I'd do it all. I'd pray, repent, pray, fast, give charity, and I'd go make Hajj and woo! That's how horrific a sin that is. And Allah knows best. Woo.
Next question. A sister wants to know, if a woman has had a miscarriage and the soul has not been blown into it yet, is it considered just blood clot or an actual baby?
Okay, it's not. First of all, it's not based on what you think the soul is, because only ask me about the soul. Only Allah can tell you about the soul. So nobody can tell you if the soul was in that baby or not. That's another misconception in Islam. That's some more Mu'tazila. As Allah says in the Quran, they ask you about the soul, only I can tell you that. So, but how many months pregnant was she and what came out of her? That's how the prophet answered this. So don't tell me about the soul, because you don't know if a soul was in it or not. What came out of her when she miscarried? Ask her what came out. Was it a blood clot or did she see body parts? Because this is what Allah says. Allah don't tell y'all about that. You don't know about that soul. So tell her don't give me that. Don't beat around the bush. Tell her if she want to ask me about a miscarriage, what came out of her when she miscarried? Was it blood clots or did she see body parts like a hand, a foot, a head, a face? And then I'll answer her. Yeah. I'm telling y'all, most of the stuff. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Said a big blood clot.
Okay, now what's the rest of her question? Now I can deal with the rest. Go ahead.
Well, she added big blood clots and was before 12 weeks. And the rest of her question was, she said, it said after a miscarriage, when a fetus returns to Allah, Allah says that day will come with which even the carrier, the mother, is destined for the throes of hell. You will rescue her with your umbilical cord.
Okay, tell her to stop right there. We have to be careful with this Sufism. That hadith is not authentic. Okay? We have to be careful trying to teach ourselves this religion. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, any woman who miscarries a child. What's the source? What's the source? Bukhari and Muslim. I tell you, sisters, for those of you who are not scholars, and none of you are, stick to Bukhari and Muslim. Leave those other books alone. Leave those other books alone. Leave those other books alone, because 60% of the hadiths and all those other books are not authentic, are not authentic, are not authentic. What is authentic is this. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, any woman who miscarries, that child will come before Allah on the day of judgment, and it will look for its parents, not just the mother, its parents. And it will recognize its parents. They ain't got nothing to do with no umbilical cord. An umbilical cord ain't got nothing to do with this. That child will look for its parent, and then it will go to its parents and grab them by the finger. And that child will turn to Allah and say, oh Allah, allow my parents to enter paradise with me. Because every child that dies before the age of puberty is in the form of a green bird now. What's the source? Bukhari. And on the day of judgment, Allah will put them in their body, and they will grab their parents by the finger and plead for Allah to forgive them of their sins and allow them into paradise. And that's it. Now, whether Allah grants them that, that's Allah's decision. It depends on what that parent did in this world. If you didn't pray, if you didn't fast, if you weren't practicing your religion, you're going to have to do some time in hell. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, the majority of my nation that will enter paradise after doing time in hell, the majority of them will be in hell because they didn't perform their prayers. They didn't fast the month of Ramadan or whatever. But that's the hadith. This stuff about an umbilical cord flying in the sky and all that, stay away from that. Stop trying to teach yourself this religion. Find a teacher, a bona fide qualified teacher. And what's a bona fide teacher? A person that knows these hadiths like I do. But until then, if it ain't from Bukhari or Muslim, you need to stay away from it. Because the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, the person that stays away from that which is doubtful, this is the person that protects his religion. You don't know if you're reading in those books is authentic or not, because you're not a scholar. So why deal with them? Deal with Bukhari and Muslim. 85% of the knowledge of Islam is in Sahih Bukhari. 9 times out of 10, if a hadith is authentic, you'll find it in Bukhari or Muslim. So I hope that answers her question. That child will intercede for its parents on the day of judgment. Allah will allow a lot of people to intercede. But whether or not Allah grants that person their intercession, that's something else. If you live your life fulfilling your obligations, doing your prayers and stuff, then inshallah, Allah will allow your child to intercede. But remember, if you got to do some time in hell, anybody who truly believes in Allah with even an ounce of faith will come out from the intercession of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But yes, that child will intercede for you. Whether Allah listens to the child depends on how you lived your life. And Allah knows best. I hope I'm clear. Did I make that clear for her, people? And all of you sisters with that. That hadith. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, she said she was asking for a friend and her friend doesn't want to accept the answer.
Well, if her friend don't want to accept the answer, the heck with her. I'm sorry. Allah makes Muslims and Allah makes believers. You don't argue or debate the religion. That's what I've been trying to teach you guys. We don't argue. We don't debate the religion like I told those two men that I kicked up out of here. Those are sharis. I ain't got time for that. Life is short. If your friend does not want to accept what Allah says, then find better friends. Remember that, guys. We need to be careful who we choose to be friends with. If you got a friend that's going to deny what Allah says, deny what the Prophet says, that's their problem. Walk away. Allah knows best. Make dua for her. Pray for her. For Allah to guide her to the truth and keep it moving. Can't make nobody a believer. Allah makes Muslims and Allah makes believers. Most of us are not believers. That's the reality. Most of us are not believers. Sad but true. Yeah. Any other questions? Go ahead. I like the questions you sisters are asking today too. These are really good questions because that hadith about the intercession, a lot of women read that hadith and they think that means that Allah is going to listen. He may or may not, depending on how you lived your life. Do you think Allah is just going to let you off the hook if you didn't pray? You didn't fast the month of Ramadan? You didn't wear hijab? You were selling your sperm and your eggs? Do y'all think Allah is just going to let you off the hook? So we got to understand Allah will allow the children to intercede for you. But whether or not he grants them their intercession, that lies with him. You guys understand that? That's really important. Yeah. Any other questions? Yeah. The sister here was typing them. Yeah. She said that she understands it too because she always wondered that too. This sister here is telling me that she always wondered if the child, most women have had miscarriages. How many you had, Sabrine? Sabrine, how many miscarriages you had? Most women have had them. I had about 2, 3, 4, maybe 5, 6, 7. I don't know. But a lot of women wonder, does that mean that we're going to go automatically to paradise? No. Allah knows best. You got to look at the whole picture, the big picture. Your obligations. We have to fulfill those obligations, sisters. And by the way, for you sisters who have not yet made up your Ramadan, y'all better make up y'all Ramadan days. Ain't no intercession going to help with that. Y'all better make up them days in Ramadan. Yeah.
And this last question here, what is meant by saying give glad tidings to the strangers? Can you break it down for her?
Give glad tidings means good news. If I was to rewrite that hadith in better English, I would say give the strangers the good news of paradise. That's what it means. Give them the good news of paradise. And what that hadith is talking about, how this religion, it will become like it is now, strange. Whereas people are not practicing Islam the way the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam brought it. The Muslims are not practicing Islam with the understanding of the companions. Instead of us obeying Allah and obeying the Prophet, we're obeying our husbands, we're obeying our parents, and we're obeying the kafir. Where other Muslims deviate away from the true Islam, the traditional Islam, other Muslims have joined the Ash'ari group, the Al-Thari group, the Mu'tazila group. So the Prophet is talking about how if you live to see those days when the religion becomes strange, because my sunnah will become abandoned and replaced with fatwa. Allah's laws will be replaced with opinion. The rest of the Muslims will look at you as being strange because you don't act like them. You don't dress like them. You don't speak like them. You don't belong to those sets. You don't belong to those groups. So the other Muslims are not going to like you. They're going to hate you. They're going to ridicule you. They're going to make fun of you. They may even fight you, because remember the Prophet said we will fight each other. He said you may feel that you are alone in the world because no other Muslim thinks like you. Everybody ridicules you. So you may think that you're alone. You may think that you are a problem, but don't get it twisted. The good news is you will be one of the people of paradise, and the rest of them will be of that 999 who ends up in hell. That's what that hadith is saying, basically. Just like here at Sunnahfollowers, the other people can make fun of me because of my loud voice. Do I care? I'm obeying Allah. They can make fun of me because I'm loud. They can make fun of me because I'm raw. They can make fun of me because I'm clear. Good news, Laila. You will be that one of paradise because I'm holding on to the sunnah. They'll be the ones in hell. And he who laughs last laughs best. That's what that hadith means in a nutshell. And Allah knows best. If you commit a major sin during Ramadan, but you repent, is your Ramadan still accepted? Only Allah can answer that. Only Allah can answer that. Allah says he forgives all sins, no matter how big, no matter how small. Some sins require expiation. If you make the expiation or make the repentance, then inshallah, Allah will accept from you. So Allah knows best. I don't know. I can't answer that. But inshallah, if you met the conditions of repentance, and then Allah, inshallah, will accept from you. Okay? As long as you repented and met the conditions of repentance, expiation, and all of that. Okay? Yeah, exactly. You're going to see a lot of that, Sister Pamela. A lot of these Muslim women, they sitting up on the internet and they ain't dressed properly. Like I said, they got, a lot of them have the hijabs on, some of them, not a lot of them, because most of them don't even wear hijab. But the ones that I'm talking about are the ones that got the hijabs on and a bias, but they a bias that's tight to show the breast. I think that's an oxymoron. In my opinion, that's an oxymoron. Why put on an abaya if you got it tight where your breast sticking out? Lord have mercy. Laila could do that too. Laila got some to stick up too. We don't do that. Homie, don't play that way. You might as well just get naked. That's that hadith where the prophet said women are covered but still naked. Even though you got the abaya on, even though you got the hijab on, your feet are showing. The top of your feet is showing. Your breasts are showing. You're still naked. That's that hadith. Yep. And the women started that during when Islam spread through Rome. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam never saw women dressed that way. But when he died, it ended up being that way because the Roman women were coming to Aisha, radiallahu anha, with see-through clothing on, and she told them that. Nah, she wouldn't even let them come in her house. Yeah, I see a lot of these new converts. A lot of these women convert to Islam and they make podcasts. And all they do is sit up there with all their makeup on, talking about their conversion and their view on Islam and relationships. And all their audience is men. It's just another form of prostitution. You know how you go to those Twitch programs and you got to worry about the kids because there's a woman sitting there with no clothes on playing the game? Well, we got Muslim women doing that. They sitting there with all that makeup on and all their stuff showing, talking about their opinion of Islam and their opinion of relationships. The whole audience are men. And the men encouraging them on, and they got millions of views. It's just a form of prostitution. The oldest profession in the world. Women, and that's another one of the signs of the last hour. What's the sign? Prostitution. Women will prostitute themselves. We're going to get to that hadith in my class too on the signs. And when we get to that, you can see we're prostituting ourselves. Women on the internet, Muslim women, just sitting there making themselves look good for the men to talk about sex and relationships and my opinion on this. And all their followers are men. Prostitution, rampant. Yeah. Yeah. Any other questions? I think that's all the questions.
Yeah, a couple more here.
Yeah, go ahead.
This one, the sister is still confused. So if it's just blood clots and no body parts came out, is that still considered a baby?
That's a miscarriage, yes. Tell her there's nothing to be confused about. If she was pregnant and she had a miscarriage, that means she was pregnant and she had a miscarriage. It's just that simple. That's it. There's nothing else to worry about. Has she ever had sex education in school? When a woman gets pregnant, women have miscarriages. It was a miscarriage. Any child that you miscarriage, you need to stop thinking about the soul because that's Sufism. Put all that crap out your mind. You were pregnant. You were diagnosed as pregnant. The egg was fertilized. So that's a pregnancy. And by the way, if you had got an abortion, you killed a baby, whether it had what you think to be a soul or not. Okay? So again, we got to stop thinking this Mu'tazila, this Sufism. Your egg was fertilized with a sperm. That means you were pregnant. That's how we define pregnancy in Islam, and that's how we define pregnancy in non-Islam. You were pregnant and you lost it. What more do you want, sister? What are you looking for? Did you get an abortion? Well, let me answer that question, because sometimes we got to read between the lines. Let's read between the lines, Geechee. For any woman out here who got pregnant and had an abortion, it doesn't matter how many months you were pregnant, that egg was fertilized by a sperm, and you gonna pay for that. You took the life of a child. Allah says that this is one of the worst sins any of us can do, is to kill a baby. So that stuff about months of the soul ain't got nothing to do with it. It was a baby being formed, and you killed it. You will answer to Allah for that. So if that's what you asking, yes, you gonna pay. You better do some quick repenting. Otherwise, you don't want to bust hell wide open, sister. Abortion is haram. Next question.
How should a Muslim woman act on social media? Are they allowed to post pictures of themselves? Some brothers say it's haram for women to post themselves.
Okay, we get this question all the time. Again, a brother does not make the laws. Who makes the laws of Islam? Allah does. So the question is not about, and Allah doesn't mention anything about a picture. And he doesn't mention anything about social media. But what Allah does command the believing woman is to not make a spectacle of herself. So it depends on what you posting a picture for. If you posting up a picture because you're trying to pick up a man, you gonna bust wide open. Plain English. If you posting up a picture because you a daya, and as a daya, every student has a right to know who their teacher is, alhamdulillah. So Islam is not based on what a brother says. Do you women understand that? We don't worship men. You Western women have been programmed to worship men. Stop worshiping men and worship your Lord. So why are you posting pictures? Are you posting pictures because you want the men to pick you up, and you can't fool Allah? Allah knows. And also, even then, you got to be dressed properly. You can't be posting pictures up like a lot of you sisters are with your breast out, with all that makeup on and them eyelashes going up to the sky. Y'all know what y'all doing. So you sisters know what you're doing. You can answer that question yourself. I got pictures posted up of me, but I am a daya, number one. Number two, I'm dressed properly. Number three, I speak properly. So it ain't no sin on me. But what is your excuse? That's the question. All right, next question.
If women choose to wear makeup publicly, how would she know if it's excessive versus permissible amount?
First of all, there's nothing in Islam that addresses makeup being haram. The Prophet's wives wore makeup. Every time you read a hadith that mentions henna, henna is makeup. Every time you read a hadith that mentions kohol, kohol is makeup. All the Prophet's wives and daughters wore makeup. Women have been wearing makeup since Eve. That's why Allah didn't make it haram. But what is haram is for you women to make a public spectacle of yourself. In other words, to make yourself up to look like a prostitute. In other words, to put makeup on to try to pick up a man. How do you know? It's right here. You know darn well if you putting that on to go out and get a man. See, these type of questions you sisters can play with a man, but you can't play with Laila, because I'm a woman too. And you should be able to look at yourself in a mirror. If you don't know what excessive makeup is, then that means you shouldn't wear it. When I was 12 years old, that's when I started wearing makeup. I remember when I put on my cohort, just like I got it on now, I asked my mother, do I have on too much? She said, if you don't know what too much is, Laila, then that means you shouldn't wear it. And that's the same answer I'm giving you. If you a woman and you don't know what too much makeup is, then that means you're not ready to wear it. I wasn't ready at the age of 12, so you ain't ready at however old you are, you're not ready. I wasn't ready at 12 because I didn't know what too much was. So I'm telling you the same thing. If you don't know what too much makeup is, that means you ain't ready to wear it. Allah knows best. Does that answer make sense to y'all, Mina? That's how you answer your girls. Doesn't that make sense?
Yes, it does.
That's what my mama told me. My mother told me that. I'll never forget. Y'all should have seen me. I was 12 years old. And I didn't just have on cohort. I had on blusher. I put on some red stuff. I put on some stuff here. I think I had some other stuff too. I don't know what I had on. I was 12. I said, I'm going to school, Mom. She said, come here. She's like, what you got on your face? I said, makeup. Is it too much? She said, if you can't look in the mirror and tell if you got on too much or not, that means you ain't ready to wear it. So I did this. Y'all know me. I'm vain. I went and looked in the mirror. I said, I ain't going to have nobody talking about me. I took that stuff off. I kept my coal on, but I took everything else off. I've been wearing coal since I was 12. And then I came back downstairs and I looked at my mother. I said, do I look all right now? And she didn't say nothing. So I went to school. And I've been wearing cohort ever since. But I took all that other stuff off. I took off that eyeshadow. I took off that blusher and all that other stuff. But I said, my mother was right. That's how I learned how to wear makeup. She said, if you can't look in the mirror and tell if you got on too much, that means you ain't ready to wear it. And there it is. Okay, next question.
And her last question is, I'm asking this question because of the rulings on women not beautifying their voice.
First of all, what ruling? Who gave what ruling on women not beautifying their voice? When you sisters talk about rulings, where's your ruling? What are you talking about? Remember, guys, the only person that has the authority to make rules is Allah. That's the first part. Now read the rest of her question.
What's the ruling on learning the Quran from a male teacher while in a group of students who are women? I'm asking because we have to recite back to him in order for him to correct us. So as long as we are not intentionally beautifying our voice.
That's not true. That's not what that's why I said there's no ruling. Either the only person that has the authority to make laws are Allah. Ask the sister, does she know what the law is made by Allah? Ask her, what does Allah say about a woman's voice? Don't give me all that garbage like these crazy Asharis and stuff do. I'm going to hold you women to it. Break it down. What does your Lord say about your voice? I want you, sister, tell her wherever she is, I want her to go to the Quran, read it, and come back here and tell us. And then I'm going to make her answer that question herself. Because Islam is simple. Like the Prophet Muhammad said, all you have to do is have common sense. Allah's laws are so clear. Allah's laws are so simple. And Allah doesn't speak in riddles. So I want the sister. There's no ruling. There's a law. Man makes rules. I don't care what man say. What does Allah say? And when she finds out what the law says about the voice, then come back and ask, and I'm going to have her answer. You sisters understand? This is how we teach as a daya. Not only am I going to answer your questions, but I want you sisters to see the simplicity of this deen and how clear Allah is to us about his laws and his rules, not man. This is Allah's law, Allah's rule. What does Allah say? In fact, can somebody pull that up in the Quran? Because I want somebody to read it up on the microphone about the woman's voice. And I want all you sisters to think about this, because this is a good question. Y'all looking it up? I know it's going to be Fame. Fame, go on there and type woman's voice and Quran, and it'll pop right up on Google. Right? Quran, woman, voice, softly. Type the words woman's voice, soft. And it'll pop right up. I don't want to mess up my computer screen. I don't even know if I can work the other one. I want you sisters to pay attention to that.
Okay. Let me
Okay,
see.
I have it.
I have it.
Okay, good. Read it.
Yeah.
And read it slowly. I want these women, I want all you women to think. Listen. Go ahead.
Well, she wrote it on here too, the sister. She said, it says, "O wives of the Prophet, you are not like anyone amongst the women. If you fear Allah, then do not be soft in speech to the men, lest he is whose heart is a disease should cover, but speak with appropriate speech."
Okay. That's a bad translation of the meaning, because if I were to translate that, and if you read the Fusha, it doesn't just say don't be soft. The Arabic word in that verse also means intimidating. Okay, we should be intimidating when we speak. Okay, it should be intimidating, but even that translation is clear. Now, based on what that verse of the Quran says, I want the sister to tell me, how do she think she should read the Quran with a man? Because that English is so clear. Read it again, Fame, slowly. Especially read the last part, slowly.
Okay. It says in the interpretation of the meaning, "O wives of the Prophet, you are not like anyone amongst women. If you fear Allah, then do not be soft in your speech to the men."
That part there. Start right there. Like the do not. Listen to her and read it slow. Listen to the clear English. Go ahead. Do not. No, that's just that part. Do not. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Do not be soft in speech to men.
That's what you call clear. Isn't that clear? Ask the sister, is that clear? Elma, is that clear? Isn't that clear? Do not be soft in your speech to men. That's clear English. So now I want you to answer the question. How should a woman recite the Quran if she's learning from a man? Based on the clear English. Can anybody else answer? Based on that one verse, do not be soft in your speech with men. How should a woman recite the Quran if she's learning from a male teacher? First of all, she should have a female teacher. But if she can't get a female teacher, how should she recite the Quran with a man? Can anybody answer that? Any of my students?
harsh. She got to raise her voice.
There you go. What's hard about that? Elma, what's hard about that?
She also said, to answer your question, I don't make my voice soft intentionally, but when I read it, naturally comes out.
Well, tell her if she got a problem with her voice like Atika had, because that's why this verse came down. I told y'all the story of Atika, radiyallahu anha. Atika was a beautiful woman. She was an excellent poet. But unlike, the other Arabic women are normally harsh like me. My voice, this is how Arab women speak. And my cousins here in the Emirates, every Arab woman would tell you. The brothers alive, Dr. Dramali, they know I ain't lying. They always say Layla's a typical Egyptian. Egyptian women. Hello, Palestinians too. Cluck, cluck. Arabic women normally have voices like mine. But one of the things that Arabic women used to do in the time of the Prophet, they do like this. When you guys go to Clubhouse, go to any Arabic room, you won't be able to tell the women apart. They all sound like 10-year-old little girls. Ha ha da da. I don't know why Arab women want to pretend to be babies. One day a man came knocking on Aisha's door, looking for the Prophet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And she let him know that he wasn't there. But that's when Allah sent down that verse saying, you wives of the Prophet, y'all even different. Y'all even more different than Atika. Y'all are his wives. Make your voices harsh and intimidating because you don't know what lurks in the heart of a man. Don't put that soft voice on. Don't do that baby talk. Atika, her voice was like that naturally. She naturally had a Marilyn Monroe voice. She was a poet. She could recite the poetry and make your heart go up and down. And the men loved, they were mesmerized by her voice. So Allah sent that down, telling the Prophet's wives, you ain't no Atika. He was really talking to Aisha. You ain't Atika. You pick that voice up. And all women, pick those voices up. Okay? Because a lot of women were trying to be like Atika. Because the men were mesmerized by her voice. Okay? So it means exactly what it says. If you cannot make your voice harsh, then what does that mean? Can anybody tell me? What should you do? If you got a male teacher and you can't make your voice like Layla's, what should you do? The answer is simple. Can anybody answer that?
Yeah, you gotta read. I mean, you can't make your voice.
Exactly, you can't read. So if you can't pick your voice up, sister, then you need to go find a woman teacher. And if you can't find a woman teacher, you can just read by yourself. Because you cannot disobey Allah just to appease yourself. Because guess what? Learning how to read the Quran in Arabic is not even an obligation on you. Nowhere does Allah say that in order to get to paradise or be a Muslim, you have to know how to read the Quran in Arabic. But he does say, oh, you Muslim women who believe, do not soften your voice in the presence of men. So reading the Quran is not an obligation, but making your voice like mine is. So if you can't do it, then stop reading. And Allah knows best. Y'all got the answer? That was easy. You women are going to have to stop it. Seriously. Y'all are ridiculous. You can't fool Allah. Reading the Quran in Arabic ain't no obligation at all. If you can't find a woman to teach you because you got a problem, so be it. Okay? All right. Any other questions?
Yeah, she was saying her natural voice.
It don't matter if your voice is natural. Then you got to do like Atika. Shut up in the presence of men. Atika was only allowed to do poetry in the front of her husband. When Allah sent down those verses of the Quran, that's when Atika, she closed up her poetry and would sit at home and recite it with the women and her husband. So if that's your natural voice, then you got a problem. Go find a woman. Do you think Atika sat around reciting poetry for men after that? No. It's clear. All right. Next question. By the way, who was that question from? On the website.
It's anonymous.
Oh, I know who it was, yeah. Okay. Next question. I was going to say it wasn't Sabrine, was it?
No.
Because Sabrine ain't got that kind of voice. That ain't the kind of voice, Sabrine. All right. Yeah. Anyone else? Any other questions?
It wasn't me.
Yeah, your voice that ain't the kind of voice, because your voice ain't like that. Yeah. Next question.
This question here on YouTube, the person wants to know, is ISM a good masjid, and can you hug your female cousin?
I don't know what ISM is, and can you hug your female cousin? No, because your cousin is not a mahram to you. Your cousin is lawful for marriage. You can marry your cousins in Islam. Yeah. But I don't know what is ISM. I don't know what that stands for. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is why it's important as Muslims, guys, that we learn what the obligations are in Islam. Learning how to read the Quran in Arabic is not an obligation. Anybody that told you it is, tell them to bring the dalil. There's no verse in the Quran nor any authentic hadith that says we're obligated to learn how to read the Quran in Arabic. The only Quran that you need to learn in Arabic is Al-Fatiha. That's it. And you ain't got to learn how to read it. You recite it. But for you sisters, making your voices strong and harsh and intimidating, that's what the Arabic word means in English. It means make your voice strong and intimidating. That is an obligation when you're in the presence of men. So I don't do what's not obligatory for me to do, but I have to do what is obligatory. So if you got a problem with your voice, be it naturally or unnaturally, then you should go find a female to teach you how to read the Quran. If you can't find a woman to teach you how to read the Quran, then you ain't got to learn how to read it. Where did Allah say? The Prophet Muhammad couldn't read it. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam couldn't read, nor could he write. Okay? So obey Allah and what he commanded you to obey him in. And that means if you got a problem with your voice, you better make it strong around men. Otherwise, stay away from men. Just that simple. Yeah, I don't know what MOS that is, Brother Perry. I don't know what ISM stands for. I don't know what those initials mean, what they stand for. Yeah. Where's it at? What's the whole name, the real name? Where's it at, Brother Perry? And what's the real name? I don't know what ISM. Give me what state it's in and what's the real name, and I can look up and see if I know any imam in there. Yeah. Any other questions in there? Awa, I mean, Fame?
No, those are it.
Okay, guys, I'm going to close out for tonight. This was a very good Q&A that you sisters came with. Y'all came up with some really good questions this time. MashaAllah. Questions about the voice. Alhamdulillah. Questions about Society of Milwaukee. I think Mayleon goes there. Mayleon, is that where you go? I got some people. Brother Marar, do you go to that mosque? I think the people here go to that one. I don't know nothing about it, but I know I got some of my people go to it. If you are a Muslim man, it doesn't matter. You need to get to a mosque to pray, Brother Perry. You need to go. You need to pray in a mosque. You know, it don't matter, but I think I got some of my students live in Milwaukee and they go to that mosque. I've heard of it before, mentioned by some of the kids here. So it might be good. Check it out and see. I'm getting ready to log on and see if I know anybody on there. I've heard of it. Oh, wait a minute. Let me see. That's in Wisconsin? That's a big mosque. You know, I always look to see what kind of people in there. Are they mixed people? It looks nice. It looks like a nice big mosque, but I hate to say it, any black people there? Always look to see if there's black people, because this is the problem with a lot of these masajids. The racism. The racism that they're doing towards Africans and African Americans is off the hook, man. But let me see. It looks like a nice mosque. Let me see who the imam is. Let me see. Oh. They got a shura board. Imams. Who is that? I've seen this dude before. Yeah, you might like it there. These brothers, are they Sufi though? I've seen these two dudes before. Their imam, they got two imams here I've seen before. One of their imams ain't got no beard. Well, they got 4 imams. Whether or not it's a good mosque, I don't know, but it's a mosque because one of their imams don't have a beard. Lot to say. The other 2 I've seen on the internet before, but I think, are they Sufi? Just try it out and see, brother. Oof. It's hard to find. Oh, they got all these women on it. The women ain't got their hair covered. Hello. I don't know, bro. All I know is just go to it to make your prayers. Well, that's most mosques, Sister Pamela. Unfortunately, guys, here in America, most of the masajids do not do marriages. They're going to make you go and get married because of the divorce situation. Because Muslims got a high divorce rate. The women don't have guardians. Nobody investigates. You end up marrying a child molester. You end up marrying a dope head, a drug addict. So these imams don't want to be sued. So they all of them do that. In fact, most of the mosques I know do that. They make you do civil marriages now. That's why it pays to be Muslim like Laila. We're brothers. Laila don't do no civil nothing. Hello. Never been married in no civil court. But yeah, I heard that's why. They do that because of the divorce. So women can file for divorce because they end up in these bad marriages and can't get out. But look at the pictures. The women don't have their hair covered properly. They got 4 imams. 2 of those imams I seen before on the internet. The other one ain't got no beard. So you figure it out. Just go there to pray. All you going there to do, Perry, is pray. Do your 5 daily prayers. Yeah. Join the khutbah. Go for the khutbah. Check them out. You might find some pretty good. It's a big mosque. So you might find some good Muslims there. There's good everywhere. So you might find some good Muslims there. Just check it out. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, guys. Inshallah, let me log out. Inshallah, this was a long Q&A, and that's because I started late. I went past my regular time because I wanted to get all the questions. There's no more, right? I'm done, right? Fame?
Yeah, that's all.
Okay. So inshallah, guys, I'm going to log out for tonight. Tomorrow, don't forget, and please donate to support us, guys. We need your donations like crazy. This is the first of the month. We ain't got no money, and good Lord, we got bills to pay. But tomorrow we have Dr. Asim's class at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Then you have my 6 o'clock class. And then you have my 9 o'clock class. I will be teaching brotherhood. Isn't that tomorrow? Yeah. So inshallah, make sure that everybody is here. I want to thank everybody for the questions today. They were all great questions. Great questions. And may everybody remember to keep the Muslims around the world in your supplications. All the Muslims around the world who are suffering, and ask Allah to give them all the ability to handle whatever Allah has decreed for them. Ameen. Keep me in your dua. Keep this website in your dua. And inshallah, I'll see everybody tomorrow. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika. Ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk.